heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
As I sit here on the edge of this cliff, I overlook a world in a universe that is not my own. I've been here for some time. 8 years. At least I think. That's how long I've been perceiving things as. It's all starting to get weird. Apparently, a little over 3 months have passed in the real world. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen another living human. Someone I can talk to. Usually whenever I liberate a world or I do something good, I just go to the next. However, I discover or am gifted technologies that I don't understand, I bring it back. There I'd be able to talk to some people. I'd also get a hot meal, a shower, and a bed to sleep in. Honestly, those simple things, they seem like gifts. I am trying my best. Apparently, I've already took over 3,000 years off my sentence. Ain't that funny? Now, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, who he was still imprisoned in the negative zone. Now, while this is going on, we did have Yui Midoriya, who she has been going to the Xavier School for Gifted Children since her brother walked through that portal. Now, Inko, she saw the way that Midoriya, he was as a child, and she was scared about bringing Yui around other mutants, especially having it be publicized or public knowledge that her daughter's a freak. So, she had Yui hide her abilities and at least try to train them to a point she can keep them a secret and not lose control. Now, Yui did do this with Inko's permission. And eventually, one day her powers stopped working. This being the House of M event. Now, Inko, she was sort of relieved. And she was also confused, as one day her powers reawakened and she almost hurt somebody with them. That being the day she decided to enroll her into the school, reveal who she is, a mutant, and not let her hide anymore. Now, she spent 3 months at the Xavier Institute, and people are starting to at least warm up to her a bit. She's a typical kid. However, she does have superpowers, so it's kind of iffy. The other mutants who are like her and around her age, they're still somewhat cautious. They know who her family is, and they know what she can do. Or at least they think they do. Now, we do actually have Yui, who she's holding up a notebook as she's writing down in it. Her walking down the hallway as she's trying to remember what she's learned from Iceman, Cyclops, and even talking to Jean Grey, who mysteriously came back from the dead. Now, she's trying to understand everything. And as she's doing that, she actually does pick up something whenever she does turn her head to look out the window. her actually standing there as she does click her pen and go to put it back in her pocket, before just leaning against the windowsill, wondering exactly if anything's really ever going to change. Her looking up towards the sky, before looking down and just thinking about how it's very weird. Apparently those robots outside are supposed to be hunting them down. And the walls out there, they weren't there before. So, instead of being hunted down, now we're being protected. Her wondering why that didn't happen after the events of Genosha. She's not really too sure what happened then, and she's had a lot of catching up to do. Now, this is whenever she would look back up, and she actually does see something coming down from the sky. As she does try to get a closer look at it, her bringing her hand up against the window and blocking out the sun, as it's getting larger and larger. Before she makes it out, that's a person. Her then just bring her hand down, or moving her hand outwards and blasting into the floor, as a hand does form out of the blast and push her to the right. Her going to smash down to the ground as the Juggernaut smashes straight through the window. And he goes straight through the third story down to the first, him taking out a considerable portion of the mansion. Now, Yui, she does look over and see the giant hole he did make, as she does go to get up onto her feet, her freaking out for 1 second, as she runs over to see if anyone is okay. Now, she does then look down and to her left, seeing the Juggernaut, as she knows who this man is. And she does go to bring her hands up, as she's ready. If this is going to be the first fight she's in, then she'll fight. And hopefully they can take him down. Now, people do come running in, as you do have Logan and Logan and Cyclops, not Colossus. Now, these two, they do come running in and they do see Juggernaut. Logan going to bring out his claws, as Cyclops is going to bring his hand up and form a fist for his glove. Now, Juggernaut does not even get up, as the two do slowly approach. And you do have Yui who does bring her hands up to actually try and climb down, using her abilities. Now, Yui, she does actually approach the Juggernaut. And look at this man. He has battle damage covering his entire body. Along with that, his shirt is ripped, and, well, he's basically got his ass kicked. Now, the Juggernaut, he would open his eyes, as he does look around, as he does just say he needs help. Now, this alarms the mutants. The Juggernaut is coming to them for help. However, there is something that does concern them even far more. Who did this to the Juggernaut? Now, this is whenever the Juggernaut would just say onslaught. And that'd be the last thing he does say before passing out. Now, with that, you do actually have Logan, who he was standing there and ready to fight, and he does look over at Cyclops, who he does look back at Logan. Yui just asking them exactly what is happening, to which the two would look at her, before they do say to get everyone to the war room, to which Yui, she does just have one response. We have a war room? Call back. Anyways, now, with that being said, everybody does gather here, as K. Marco, he was left where he was. And they're trying to formulate what's happening. people getting a rundown that Midoriya, he claimed Charles Xavier was Onslaught. And this man, Kane Marco, he was beaten by a man named Onslaught. So, that does tell them everything they need to know about where Charles is, or what he's been up to. Now, with that being said, we are still 1 week away from Hope Summer's birth, as you do actually have Onslaught, or Charles, who he is walking around and trying to explain to people his plan. Most people view humans as, or mutants as freaks. So, what they're going to do is they're going to make them understand. Mutants are the dominant species, along with their cousins, the Inhumans. Now, Onslaught would explain his plan, as we do actually have in a large city somewhere in a state. Now, let's just say, I'm not going to name a place. Let's just say it's a very large city of about 1 to 2 million people. And everyone is going through their day-to-day lives. Everything seems peaceful and nothing seems to be wrong. However, something happens today, as we do cut to 24 hours later. Or, actually, let's just say 6 hours later, where these 2 million people, they've all suddenly just dropped dead. And no one knows why. Now, everybody in their autopsies did seem to be perfectly healthy, and they all had the same way of death, a brain aneurysm, or a telepath scrambling through someone's head. Now, this was very interesting, and it was brought up to the mutants, as all of their telepaths, Jean Grey, the Stephagokus, and Emma Frost, just to name a few, they had nothing to do with this. And whenever people tried to ask about Charles, they were not able to give a proper response. Now, the world, if they are made aware that this threat that possibly did this is Charles, it would cause hysteria for mutants, especially because of what had just happened with Midoriya. Now, with that, we do actually have Yui, who, she does feel like she has eyes on her, especially because she's hiding a secondary mutation herself. Now, Midoriya, or Yui Midoriya, she actually would talk to somebody about this, as we do have when she just walk into a room and see Jean Grey, who she is currently talking with Scott, and the two are trying to find out what Onslaught might be planning. Now, with that, Jean, she does actually ask Yui if she would like to talk. Yui being caught by surprise. To which Jean would just say that she knew this was going to happen, and that if she's here to talk about her mutation, then she should know that she doesn't see Midoriya as her older brother. Now, Yui, she's confused by what she does mean by this. And Jean, she's sort of confused about it all, asking about how she knows, or does she know how the other reality came to an end. Yui saying no, and Jean revealing that it came to an end with her death by the hands of her brother, and that she doesn't really blame him. She lost control of her own body, and it was the Phoenix who had control at the time. Now, Yui has so many questions, However, she does want to at least ask about her telepathic abilities. Now, this does surprise Jean, as she does ask if she just developed these abilities, to which she would say no. As far as she's aware, she's had them for a long time. And she's kind of been learning from just the way she does see people act. She's gone on a few online things and seen how mutants manage their powers. Since you do actually have Kid Omega, who he has explained how certain mutant abilities do work on his channels. Now, in reality, that's just a bullshit reason, but if anyone knows anything about Kid Omega, it's something he would do. Now, with that being said, this does come as a surprise to Jean. And she does actually do what she used to do or did for Midoriya whenever he was a young boy. Her taking Yui to the astral plane, or a way to perceive the mindscape. Now, with that, we do actually have Onslaught, who he has nobody in his way at the current moment. Right now, Reed Richards and Tony Stark, they're working on discovering why Midoriya and Robert Reynolds are connected. And we do actually have at the Baxter building, as Onslaught, he does walk in as Charles Xavier. And a lot of people, they don't even bat an eye to him. Him using his powers to keep himself hidden. As far as they're aware, Charles just looks like a regular kid. And people, they do ask where his parents are. Now, Charles would make his way through the Baxter building, as he does actually come up to the floor where the Fantastic Four are housed at. As Reed Richards is out right now, Johnny Storm is on patrol, Ben Grimm is in the grave, and Susan Storm, well, right now she's doing her own thing out in the world, while Franklin, their son, and some of their other children, they're at home. Now, this is whenever Onslaught, he does actually approach Franklin Richards. And he does want to talk to him. Be his friend. Now, with all this happening, Onslaught, he wants to absorb Franklin Richards and his abilities. If he can take on this boy, he can rewrite reality. And he won't even need a silly little glove and a few pretty little stones. Now, with that, you do actually have a few people who have been looking around. And you do have Jean Grey, who, whenever she was hooked up to Cerebro, she did find a source of mental disturbance, or a case of somebody suddenly dropping dead. Now, she did investigate it, and she did find that there was no foul play, as she began to try and search the world using Cerebro. Even with a hidden mind, there's still got to be some mental disturbance, some way he's using his power. And she'll find it. Now, Jean, she does find something. And it's very cloudy at least. As the Stepford Cuckoos, they also do step in and help to boost her mental power. As she does find Onslaught hiding his presence, as he's currently in the Baxter building. And she does have an idea of what he's doing. He's there to murder Franklin Richards, At least that's what she does believe. Or he's there to kidnap him and brainwash the boy to do what he does want. Now, Jean does declare it as all hands on deck, as she does alert the X-Men and the Avengers, along with everybody in the world. They found Charles Xavier, and he is going after a reality bender. Now, with that being said, we do actually cut back to the negative zone, where Midoriya, he is actually flying through space, and he does feel a bit better. He's been keeping logs and keeping track of the way this place does work. He's been here for a while and he does actually start to perceive it as somewhat of a home. So, once he does do a few more things, he should be able to leave here. Or at the very least, be on quote-unquote probation, as you would call it. Yeah, he'd probably be able to at least be in the home universe, but he'd still be in custody. However, this being where his thoughts are interrupted by his bracelet beeping. Now, Midoriya he would just stop flying, as he does bring up his bracelet and press a button on it, as a hologram does pop up, and the screen does display text, telling Midoriya to head back to 42 right now. Something is happening on Earth, and his presence is immediately required. Now, Midoriya he does just press down on the button, before turning back in the direction of 42 and rocketing in that direction as fast as he can, as he does find that he does have a higher speed. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.